What we do here is go back.
Yeah, good mate. Thanks for having me.
Who went the hardest in the celebrations?
Can't say myself, can I?
You sort of almost got to tell yourself that you're a big game player or a big finals player. So somehow I thought, well, just because I played well as a 13-year-old, I have to play well in the grand final.
Me and Cogs are a couple of good WA boys, and we do get a bit affectionate with each other, always giving each other kisses and stuff. Nah, not really, just, a manly kiss on the cheek every now and then.
Welcome back to the Bray and Ethan podcast, of course, thanks to Skinbro. Use Bray and Ethan 20 for 20% off all skincare products at skinbro.com. And Ethan, as I welcome you in, all orders $35 or more now get free shipping on Skinbro. So you don't have to spend as much to get the free shipping.
No better time.
Why wouldn't you want to buy all products? Because you may as well get the exfoliator, the moisturizer, and the cleanser, because it does the trick.
Yeah, no, last year, at least a couple of months, still got our first one, I think both of us, so it's working a treat now. We've got our second draft prospect for the year, and like Colton a couple of weeks ago, there's a lot of similarities here. He's a National Academy member. He's a Saints fan as well, and he's already played league footy in the Waffle this year. Riley Hardeman, welcome.
Hey, how you going, lads? How are we?
Yeah, good. Thanks for joining us. You've just come from uni. How's life treating you at the moment? Busy schedule?
I wouldn't call it busy, but yeah, there's definitely plenty to tick off during the week. Work, uni, and plenty of footy. Yeah,
for sure. Well, feels like your name's been around for a long time already, but take us back to how it all started for you, from the Caversham Suns Footy Club to Swan Districts, and what's the journey been like since progressing through all the development squads and whatnot.
Yeah, so started Auskick at Darlington Junior Football Club, which was
that's down the road from me. I'm a Darlington
way
boy.
Back up in the hills. And then progressed into junior footy at Upper Swan Football Club, actually. So played pretty much all my junior footy there up until youth, till about year 8, and then moved to the Caversham Suns. Saw a lot of success, a few premierships, and up into the development squads at Swan Districts. So 14s, 15s, and futures. Progressed into that Colts side, won won a premiership, and now we're here.
There you go. He's from originated from Darlington. That's where I live now. Didn't play for Darlington. I was a Upper Swan Auskick boy. But all the way through Upper Swan, so he's obviously been Upper Swan. Did you win a flag at Upper Swan?
No, we did not win a flag at Upper Swan.
Oh, we won the year 9 flag, and that's when I finished, because I realised the media pursuit was better than the playing opportunity. So there you go.
More of an impact off the field. What's your position for those who don't know? What are your strengths?
So I'd call myself a rebounding halfback, but I do have the ability to go into the wing, and I actually played in the middle last week, which is a bit different, but halfback is the main one, I'd say.
Very nice. Well, as you mentioned, you did win a Colts premiership for Swan Districts as a 16-year-old. So that's a double underager or just an underager?
Double.
Double underager.
Yeah, there you go. So what was it like winning a flag at such a young age, knowing you still have so much footy in front of you, because you still had, another 2 years of underage footy left before that draft year came, and plus playing on Optus as a 16-year-old, that must have been pretty cool.
Yeah, it was an absolutely surreal experience. It's the only way I could really explain it. I was in the futures at the start of that year, and I kind of got a call from Greg Harding, and he asked me to come into the Colts side at about round 5 that year. Didn't know much about Colts footy at all. I just kind of slid in there and played majority of those games that year, and then it was a very successful team, a very close group of boys. And we managed to find ourselves in a grand final, and then to be just a little 16-year-old kid, I'd call myself, on Optus Stadium. It was I was just pinching myself the whole time, and to be able to get the win and celebrate with the boys after, it was pretty cool.
Do you remember much from the game itself, or is it kind of a blur?
Oh, it's a bit of a blur. I do remember, I think it was the worst warm-up I've ever done because I'm too busy just doing these ones, looking all around. But all I remember is that the tension of that last quarter, because it came down to the wire. I think it was 7 or 8 points, and just the final siren going, that's really stuck with me. It was an awesome day.
Yeah, it was a real arm wrestle from memory. It felt like anyone could have won. 1 minute it was Claremont, 1 minute it was you guys.
Yeah. And the crowd really got around it as well. It was probably one of the biggest crowds for a Colts grand final in recent years, I reckon.
Yeah,
Obviously, that time slot helps with, I guess, swapping with the reserves. But
Definitely.
there was a lot of people there cheering both sides on, as well as staying around for the league game, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember that. I think it was like that pocket of just Swans fans just yelling abuse at everyone. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. 2022 was a huge year for you, playing state 18s as an underager, playing on the MCG before the AFL Grand Final, and then finding out you'd be in the National Academy. Speaking with Colton, he said it was a real year of learning of the guys in their own draft year. Is that the same for you? Did you learn a lot last year, and did you expect all those accolades and experiences to come your way?
Yeah, absolutely. Colton's hit the nail on the head. I think learning off boys like Elijah Hewitt, Ruben Jimby, who, going through a similar experience to what we are this year, we were able to learn a lot off them and, how they kind of approach their footy both on and off the field. So it was a real worthwhile experience being an underage in that under 18s. And then I think our ability to learn probably took us to where we are now. Managed to get selection into the National Academy. It was a huge year. It was massive.
What was it like finding out the National Academy? I mean, did you have much of an idea it was coming your way?
No, there were no expectations. I kind of just have this mentality where I just play footy, and then if it happens, it happens. So getting that call from Tarkin Lockyer, the head coach, was it was amazing. I remember I was cooking dinner, get a phone call from him. Oh, better answer that one, and there you go. It was amazing. It was pretty cool.
Oh, pretty cool. So you would have been pinching yourself the whole time training with West Coast earlier in the year. Was there anything that surprised you along the way that you've, I guess, taken from that into your own season this year?
Probably the main one I took away from that experience was it's a full-time job. Like I think I didn't really understand that the boys are there from 7 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon most days. But what I did learn is that in that professional environment, like, it's a lot of fun. Like, boys are getting around each other, like making the gym a fun place, and it's really an environment you want to be a part of, I feel. And
because I remember Colton was saying that you just look around like the older guys and kind of pinch yourself, but then realise they're just people. Did it take you along to sort of, I guess, relax in that sense, or were you kind of just like, oh, how have I got in this position, sort of thing? Yeah, definitely. Me and Colton walked through those doors on that first day like deers in headlights. We were just absolutely pinching ourselves. Walked through the nicest facilities I've ever seen. And we were just going like, oh, look, there's Shannon Hearn, oh, there's Jack Darling. Like, what are we doing here? It was weird, but once we got adjusted, the boys got around us real well. They were real welcoming, and we met all the coaches and whatnot. Like, Simo came up to us, had a chat, and we were pretty much away from there. It was good. That would have been them at one stage as well, being in your position. Yeah. Obviously, you would have been hopeful of a Waffle League debut early on this year, and that came in round one. How'd you find out? Were there much nerves leading into that game? And despite the devastating 1 point loss, how'd you see it out there? I think pretty much from the start of pre-season, it was definitely a goal to play some league footy this year, and for it to come in round one, that was pretty cool. Absolutely. Again, a surreal experience, which seems to be the reoccurring theme. I didn't really have much of an idea leading into round one. I think that week at training, I was just training and just see what happens. And it got announced by the head coach on Thursday at training. Boys got around me, which was pretty nice. And then, leading into that game, it's really awkward playing at 2:10 in the afternoon. You kind of wake up and go, oh, I've got 5 hours here to try and occupy some time. So I ended up getting there a bit early, had sat around, plenty of nerves, but got out there. Got a touch pretty early, so I was happy I was away.
Yeah, for sure. It's guess what, something you probably haven't done for a couple of years since late junior footy, hey, having the later game time slot. Yeah, because as that year 11, year 12, you're playing at 2:30 in that junior time slot, so it was a bit weird not having to wake up at the crack of dawn to go play some Colts footy. It's the only negative, I guess, about Colts footy is those early starts. But is it hard from being one of the best players or in your age and your team on the field that day and being a role player to someone who, I guess, is the new kid on the block playing in a smaller role in a league side? And what do you take away from that league debut? I guess from being a star to, I guess, just a small player playing off the halfback, like you said. Yeah, I suppose,
all through pre-season, there was a bit of a switch in mentality. Obviously, I'm not playing as big a role as what I may have been at the Colts. So I think just going in there, not really being known to anyone, so it was real focus to try and win the respect of the boys, which was probably the first and main priority. And that was just through playing some good footy, giving them ability to trust me. So in that league debut, obviously, I wasn't going to go out there and have 30 touches. I just wanted to play my role, my position to the best of my ability. So those boys can trust me on the field, and just being real defensively sound as a halfback, I suppose. Yeah.
So you're glad you've had that opportunity and challenge now, because that'll probably be the case in your first couple of years in an AFL system.
I hope so. I hope that experience holds me in good stead, because it should be pretty similar, I'd assume. Yeah.
Yeah. A couple of weeks ago you played Port Adelaide Sandful side. How satisfying was it to pull on the Australian jumper, knowing who was around you, and have that involvement in a gather round? Oh,
it was, it's really a reoccurring theme, isn't it? Another surreal experience is the only way I can describe it. They take those Australian jerseys out and they hand them to us. I was, absolutely over the moon. Couldn't believe they didn't let us keep them. I was,
really?
We've got another game, so they'll let us keep it after that. But I just wanted to take it home with me and just observe it, just have a look at it. It was, awesome. And then, to go out there and play against Port Adelaide Sandful team, I mean, having that league experience, I'm sure held me and Colton in pretty good stead. I felt like there wasn't a very big difference in the levels. But to go out there and be a part of gather round, there was still a bit of a crowd for maybe the first 5 minutes of our game before everyone left from that. I think it was Brisbane North Melbourne game. But it was pretty cool to go out there and be a part of that experience.
So who was playing? Were there any of, I guess, notable names from the Port Sandful side that have played AFL quite a bit?
I'd say Mitch Georgiades and what's his name? Jones. Lockie Jones. Lockie Jones. Yeah,
okay.
he was pretty good off the back line. He was taking everything. And then Jake Piscini was a Swans boy. He was playing. I got to talk to him after the game. It was pretty cool.
Yep.
And then played on Jed Hagan, which is haven't come across him in a very long time. Obviously moved over to Adelaide to have a crack, so it was pretty cool to catch up with him again.
I didn't know he headed over.
Yeah, that was earlier this year. Didn't get much attention. But he's over there.
What was the Adelaide Hills like? Because is that ground just built for gather round? I swear I heard something. It was a brand new ground just for gather round.
I think the ground, the grass was there, but they obviously put in a lot of work to do it up. There was I'm sure it was temporary stands around the whole ground, because there was one kind of smallish grandstand, which pavilion thing that was there before. Yep. And then they put down all these probably temporary structures and the big LED screens. So they'd done it up. It was quite cool.
Pretty cool. So what's the second game for the year for you guys in the academy?
So we go over in, I think it's 2 weeks' time. It's gone quick. We're playing Carlton's VFL team on Marvel Stadium, which should be awesome.
So is that a curtain raiser for something?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a curtain raiser for the Carlton Western Bulldogs game, potentially. I'm not 100% sure, but it's a curtain raiser.
What's the relationships been like you built with the boys over in the other states? You got someone like Harley Reid getting sort of attention. He's got probably the biggest talk of a number one pick ever, really. And then some other players. What are the relationships you built? And do you think that's important, getting to meet people other than just the boys in WA?
Yeah, I think we had a camp in December, and it was real daunting knowing that we'd have to go over and it was similar to the state 18s, and you'd have to go and completely meet a new group of people that you've only played footy against. Obviously, we played against them in the champs, but getting there, everyone's kind of in the same shoes. And once we sort of got out of our comfort zones and met with everyone, we've formed a pretty solid group of boys like Harley Reid and Nick Watson. Everyone, I can speak for everyone and say they're all very, very good blokes, and really fortunate to kind of see where they've come from through their journey. Obviously, it's very different to us. Most of them still go to school. I'm graduated. We get to rub the fact that we got our licenses first in our face, which Colton took lots of liking to. But it was really good to see where they come from and play a game with them and then have another one in a few weeks. It should be very good.
Yeah, exciting. Well, what's been happening off the field? Obviously, you're at uni as well, but we believe there's a clothing business that was on the horizon.
Yeah, there There is, I'll say is, a clothing business on the horizon. So Lemon Streetwear, which is me and a few of my mates from school, halfway during our WACE exams, we're like, what a great idea. We went out shopping, went to Ollie, went to Lo-Fi in the city, and we're like, we could do this ourselves if we really gave it a crack. And it's pretty much, just hand-drawn pieces. Getting shirts out soon, I hope. Everyone's got to check it out. Lemon Streetwear Co. on Instagram, and then we'll hook you up with a few t-shirts.
You're going to expand to a website as well?
Yeah, website's currently in progress.
It takes a lot of work.
It does.
From what I've heard and seen.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
What's your role in the business?
The brains,
CEO?
CEO, the mastermind behind the business. No, we all get work done, but I'm real driving factor. I think those boys will agree as well. Marketing, all the contacts in footy. Make sure everyone gets around it.
Do you think it's important to have a full year basically in the real world rather than just joining an AFL team straight out of school? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it must be a little bit of a benefit.
Yeah, like obviously our circumstances are different anywhere you go, but I think the ability to go out and go to uni and have a part-time job and kind of structure my week as what you'd call a normal person would, I think it's really held me in good stead, because coming in school, there's a sense of dependence like on your parents and your family and the structure of school. So to be able to go out into the real world, you could call it, and have that independence. Like I've got to get myself to uni. I've got assignments I need to do. I've got to work to earn money because fuel's shocking. Yeah, got to pay for fuel. I think it's held me in a real good stead in like I'm developing that self-sufficiency. So I think that, say I theoretically get drafted to Victoria, I think having those skills it'd really help you out, I'd say. Yeah,
and it would keep your mind off things as well.
Yeah, you don't want to be sitting around all week thinking about the shocker of a game you had on the weekend. I think that'd probably take a toll on you after a while.
For sure. Well, we know clubs don't like to give too much away, and you guys are told not to give too much away, but have you found the experience of chatting to clubs and recruiters, any weird and wacky things that have happened in your meetings over the last couple of months or even a year? Who knows? Have had plenty of
probably more of the speed dating interviews, so 15-minute ones.
Blind dates?
Yeah, pretty much blind dates. We had a block of them on Wednesday this week, actually, and I won't give away anything about the club, but they asked a few wacky ones. I think probably one of the strangest ones I got was, say your house was on fire, your family and animals are safe. What are 3 things you'd take out of the fire? And that stumped me for I was like, what do you want me to say? I don't think I've ever been in a position like that before.
What did you say?
I said my iPad, because it's got all my uni and schoolwork on it. My Swan Districts premiership medal, because it holds sentimental value, because they wanted reasons as well. And then my guitar, because it holds sentimental value to me as well. So,
there you go.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, so that was a pretty interesting one. Yeah.
Are there any 1%ers you've added off the field, whether that be being more strict with your eating, your sleeping patterns, to impress these recruiters and reach your own goals, even more so, or are you trying not to overdo it and just trust what you've always done?
I think it's a bit of both. Obviously, what I've done's been all right because I've gotten to the position I'm in, but at the same time, fine tuning those off-field aspects of my game, I'd say. Yeah, that's something that's been a focus. Like I was pretty shocking with my diet at the start of the year, so that's something I've definitely focused on. Obviously, like living with mum. Mum's a great cook. She cooks all of my meals. I need to go, hang on, I should probably start doing that stuff myself. So that's definitely been a bit of a focus of mine. But yeah, even stuff like hydration, sleep, recovery is a huge one. Like you're running around a lot more than what you are in the seniors. So you wake up on the Sunday morning and you can't move, you can't get out of bed. So just having those good habits, good recovery techniques, they definitely hold you in good stead.
For sure.
Nice.
All right, well, we would be going to the speed questions just to get to know him a little bit more, but we're trying something new this week. Yeah, so you'll see a video that was posted on the socials a day or so ago.
Yeah, it would have been
from when
up by the
released.
time this is out. So
probably a day or two before this came out, there'll be a video on the socials if you haven't seen it already. So we're doing a little bit of a video sort of speed question thing after the episode's done for you guys. So we'll head straight to the social media Q&As, thanks to Skinbro. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at Bray and Ethan, and TikTok is just Bray Ethan if you want to check out some good videos, highlights. First one from Tyson.O'Neill. Who's the hardest player you've ever played on?
Yeah, that's a difficult one. I think probably when we played South Australia. Oh, there's two actually. So probably when we played South Australia in the last game of the champs last year, had a stint on the wing on Mateus Filippo.
Okay.
Which, I kind of didn't know who he was until he kind of strutted out there and stood next to me, and I just realised this kid's very good, and I've definitely struggled running with him.
Yeah, right.
And then probably in that underage Colts year, as a winger again, played on Arthur Jones, and he's insanely quick, and he's just got an absolute tank on him, and running back and forth, he's zippy and plenty of energy. It was pretty hard to play on him, I'd say.
It's been pretty crazy to see Arthur's rise.
Yeah, he's had a pretty good couple of, I guess, early games in his career in the last couple of weeks. So
he's good. He's starting to find his feet, get that spot in the doggy side. Yeah, it's been good.
And Mateus, you'd be a fan of him now, being a Saints
Yeah,
player.
absolutely. Yeah, he's definitely helped us. I mean, as a Saints fan, haven't really seen lots of success in recent years, so it's really good to see him step up and make me happy, I'd say.
Next one from Jake Caulfield. It's not really a question, but it just says, you better still do GTA playlists when you're in the AFL, Riley, or I'll be disappointed.
Yeah, so that's a mate from school. It's a bit of a tradition. On the weekend, the boys hop on GTA, do a bit of a stunt race playlist. So I'll definitely still be on those because they're lots of fun and they can be quite controversial sometimes.
Lovely, good from Jake. Daniel Gather-Cole. Who will you hug first on draft night, Mum, Dad, or Daniel Gather-Cole?
He's just cemented his spot with the invitation at the draft party, I think he reckons. That's something I definitely haven't thought about, but just for the sake of it, I'd say Daniel Gather-Cole's getting a hug.
Everyone will get a hug.
Yeah, everyone gets a hug.
PS_topless.
Oh, here we go.
Would you rather a Saints premiership or to win a Brownlow yourself?
That's a great question, actually.
Well, say if you're drafted to West Coast, then would you still want the Saints to win a flag, or would you rather win a Brownlow? I guess you could say win a Brownlow in the next 10 years, or the Saints win this year. You could go either way with it.
I think, probably for the sake of my family and the long line of Saints supporters who have experienced all this adversity, I'd go for a Saints premiership. Because 1966 was a very long time ago. Yeah. So I think, they'll always hold a spot in my heart. So I'd like to see them win eventually.
Do you remember 09 and 10?
I remember very clearly 2010.
Yep.
I think I was at my cousin's birthday party, actually, and it was on the TV. It was a dress-up party, but I'd still dressed up as a Saints fan. And I just remember, all of my uncles and relatives, just groaning, and a few tears were shed as the final siren went. It was the draw, and I just couldn't believe it. And I still remember watching Stephen Milne try and wrangle that ball, and it bounces through for a behind. Yeah, it's you've really brought up some dark memories, I'd say.
Going back into the archives.
It's one of my earliest footy memories as well.
Well, a lot of people think I'm not trying to bring any dark memories again, but a lot of people think that if there was extra time, the Saints had the momentum and would have won that.
They definitely had the momentum. Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
Move on to Elijah. No, Elijah.
Yeah, it is.
Elijah.D11. What do you see yourself accomplishing in the next 5 to 10 years?
That's a big one.
That's a great question, Elijah. I think probably, ending up on an AFL list would be definitely, it's always been a dream of mine, and it's, probably a pretty short term at this point. It's only 6 months away, but that's something I'd love to tick off. And, I'm not really one for personal accolades, but I just really want to, establish myself in an AFL side and, find some form and play some consistent footy, play some games. I think that'd it'd definitely be one.
Yeah. Now this one, another one from Elijah. Best piece of advice you've received.
Elijah's really coming out with them, isn't he? Best piece of advice I've received is probably from Dad, I'd say. And it was, I can't remember specifically what he said. It's kind of been what he's been driving over the years, and it's just been, if you're not having fun with it, why are you doing it? And that can translate to uni, school, work, and especially footy. I think, I play footy. Well, the reason I played footy was because all my mates were doing it, and I had an absolute blast doing it as a kid, and I still do to this day. So the moment it stops becoming fun, I really got to see why it is and just bring it back to why I started playing in the first place.
Yeah, I reckon that's people probably forget. It's such a, especially if you're pursuing it to be like a career, it can get often forgotten about.
Yeah, there's so much external pressure with boys these days, and yeah, you saw it last year with some of those boys in the state. It was really getting to them a bit, and I think just bringing it back to what you know, controlling what you can control.
Sure. Bodie _Derek 11. If it wasn't AFL, what sport would you be playing?
I'd like to call myself an avid cricketer, but I'm really not. My cricket stats will tell you different. I'd say probably athletics. I did athletics probably from maybe 11-year-old up until 15 or 16, where footy pre-season started becoming that extra bit longer, and you just didn't have time for it anymore. I was an avid jumper, so I did triple jump, long jump, hurdles at state champs at Little Athletics, and fared pretty well in them. So I'd say that's something I would have tried to pursue if AFL wasn't it.
Yeah, well, you're lucky because I just had a look at the quiz, and there's no my cricket questions in the quiz coming up. So
you'd have to scroll.
We won't go back.
The batting stats if
we won't be going back to your cricket stats in the quiz.
Next one from Lincoln _Brooks. Best teammate at Caversham.
Best teammate at Caversham.
Controversial.
Best teammate or best team? Best teammate. Mate. I'll probably go Luke Kelly. I still play footy with him. A few boys probably don't want to hear that, but yeah, me and Luke, we've always been pretty good together. He was pretty much the reason I moved over from Upper Swan. I think him and his dad PK. We went away on the state 12s trip together in Darwin, which was 2017. And we just kind of went, let's build a super team at Caversham, which was a bit controversial for its time. Had some really good players, won a premiership, but I'd say, Luke's just his ability as a midfielder and just his ability to keep toiling through adversity. I mean, he hasn't made any state sides or anything like that, but you can really see he's putting in the work. So that's something I've definitely admired from him for ages.
For sure. WA footy prospects, how have you handled the hype and expectations since the 21 Colts grand final to stay present?
I think it's been pretty easy for me. I wouldn't say I've had to battle it or toil against it or anything. I think because I was so young and there were so many great players in that team that there wasn't really any external attention on me. Obviously, we had Elijah and Darcy go in the draft last year, so it was more focused on them, and I was just kind of doing my thing in the background, which is what I really like. But I think in terms of just blocking out any external noise, you just don't really read into anything too much if you can avoid it. And just again go back to why I'm playing footy. I'm just taking it week by week, not trying to get too ahead of myself or anything.
Yeah, good answer. Cohen _H.29. What's your preparation on the days leading up to games and game day?
Probably hydration is a huge one. So it's a Friday now. I've got a game tomorrow. So pretty much since yesterday, I've just been knocking back as much water as I can handle. Nutrition's a huge one. So just big meals the night before. Try and get as much food in. Obviously, it's a bit different playing the Colts time slot and the league time slot. You got to wake up in the morning and get something down pretty quick at the Colts, but you can kind of structure your meals a bit differently. When you've got that 2:00 game. So trying to have a big breakfast, lunch, and just snacks throughout the game. So bananas, muesli bars, not energy drinks, like up and goes and whatnot. And then sleep's probably an important one as well. You got to get your sleep in.
Yeah. Are you someone who would stay after and watch the rest of games for Swans?
I definitely playing Colts. I definitely try to stay and watch a bit of the reserves games because there were so many boys from 2021 last year that were in that team. So it's good to watch them and see how they were progressing. But yeah, and then even in the reserves, watching the league team. So yeah, I'm definitely a huge fan of just footy in general, and I love watching it. Yeah.
So you got the 3 o'clock time slot tomorrow at Lathlane. So it's even later than the traditional league time slot. So how are you going to go with that preparation wise?
Yeah, that's going to be a bit strange. I think there's no real routine for a 3 o'clock game. I've never played a 3 o'clock game before. So, I'll just have to try and stick as close to it as possible and see how we go, really. Yeah.
Colts Super Round is like 3 games.
Second one, yeah. Well, at least you don't have the 5 o'clock game at the Wacker. So you can actually have your Saturday night to sit back and watch some AFL footy.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Hazard_29. Does Riley like my... I don't know if it's GQ. I think it's GQ.
It's his car. He's
HQ.
he loves his car. I don't love his car, and I don't love him driving it because I don't trust him as a driver, and it's very scary when you see him rocking up to training. So cheers, Harry. I appreciate your question.
And again from Hazard_29.
Oh, here we go.
It's not a question. It just says someone teach this guy geography. Any comments?
It's nearly a no comment, but I will say, Harry, learn your geography because, it's shocking. It's some of the stuff that comes out of that bloke's mouth. I'm sure you'll have him on as a guest in future years, but just be ready, eh? It's crazy what that kid says.
How old is he?
He is a year younger than us, but he needs to stay in school for a few more years. So, Harry, make sure you're doing your schoolwork and reading before bed every night, buddy. Thank you.
Your revision. And Bo Lucy, reserves player there at Swan Districts and was, I guess, part of the Colts squad, was he not, in 2021?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Apart from yourself, what teammate or mates do you think hogged the mirror?
That's very offensive, Bo. I don't think I hogged the mirror. I'd say you, mate. You've got that little pretty hairstyle for game day, Bo. So I'd say you'd be in front of it for a fair whack. But I will give another reserves boy. I'd say Noah Hannon.
Noah, he's got no hair. He's got hardly any hair.
He's got hardly any hair, but he somehow manages to spend an hour on it before game. He loves himself, Noah Hannon. Yeah.
Last one, Aaliyah PCH.
Yeah, Aaliyah Patch.
Yeah. Why do you and Aaliyah love each other so much?
Oh, because we go way back at school. I think so. I moved schools in year 8, and we both moved to the same school together. And just from day one, we've always had each other's back. Played in the band together, and just plenty of memories with him. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll move on to the quiz. That concludes the Q&As. We'll move on to the quiz. So 10 questions, max of 14 points available. We've had 2 contestants so far, Colton with 10 and Zach Langdon last week with 10. So 10 is the benchmark at the moment.
Okay, righto.
So 10 questions, but bonus points up for grabs as well. And, I think it's just the last question, isn't it now? So, a point for every question, maybe a half every now and then. And then the last question is potentially 5 points up for grabs. Yep. Question number 1. What is your height and weight on the Waffle website?
185 centimetres and the weight 70 kilos, I reckon.
Bang.
Yep,
that's
cheers.
Correct.
Thank you.
1 from 1.
Number 2, how many Colts games have you played in your career?
That's a difficult one. Well, 1 this year, 6 last year. I don't know how many I played in 2021. 16, 23, 24 is my answer.
Oh, close.
21.
21. Oh, getting a bit ahead of myself.
Question number 3. How many reserves games have you played in your career?
6 or 7. You're not giving me much here, lads. 7.
Sorry.
It was 6.
5.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. You know, ask me how many league games I've played. I reckon I could get that one.
Yeah, I reckon we could as well.
So you're still on 1.
Researching. So 1 from 3.
Number 4. How many touches did you have on the weekend in the Colts?
31.
Oh.
Hang on.
Okay.
Hang on. It got, if you look on the app, it'll say 30 on the website, but I reckon it got rounded up by 1 on the app.
We'll give it that.
All right, okay.
You can have a look after just to cross-reference, I reckon.
I'll even have a look now. Yeah, 2 from 4 now, so I'll give that to you. Question number 5. How many marks did you take on your league debut?
I took more than what I usually do. 6.
Bang.
Yep. Cheers.
And I've just done some research. 31 says the app. Believe it or
Website
not.
says 30, so
Well, the app doesn't lie, unfortunately.
All right, so what are we? 3 from 5 now?
Yep.
Question number 6.
What was the margin you won by in the 2021 Colts Grand Final?
7. 8 points. 8 points. 8. It's 8.
Well, we didn't come to our ding or buzzer, so we'll probably give it to him.
We'll give it.
Yeah.
4. 4 from a possible 6. Question number 7. How many points did the Port Adelaide Sandful side beat you by?
Oh dear, this it's a bit more than 2 goals. 13 points.
Bang. 5 out of 7.
Making a comeback here.
This is good. This is very good.
Number 8. Out of the 4 WA-based AFL Academy members, where are you ranked from oldest to youngest by birthday?
I am the oldest. Yeah.
Correct.
Yes, that's right.
So that's 6 now. This is impressive. Usually, I think Colton and Zach both got to about 6 by the time that we got to the last question where they could get 5 points, which they got 4 points and they got the 10. So we could be seeing a new leader here. Question number 9. Did you have more handballs or kicks in the NAB Futures game at the MCG last year?
I don't even know how many touches I had that game. I probably had more kicks than handballs.
Yeah, you had 1 more. You had 6 and 5.
So 11.
Really done your research here. It's very impressive.
Ethan is very good at it.
All right, number 10. Now, this one is usually who am I, but decided to change things up a little bit, but there still is 5 points up for grabs. So what can we get to? A possible of 12?
Yep.
Which will take you to
Not
the
bad.
top. So how many players have been drafted out of the Caversham Junior Football Club, and 5 points if you can name them?
Well, I wouldn't have any idea of how many players have been drafted. I can't even.
Well, it's a newish club.
It is a.
They're only probably 10
To give
years
you a bit of a clue,
old.
there's no one like old that you wouldn't know
'cause
about.
the
Like,
club's only like 10 years old.
you'd know all these people, like,
Yeah.
I'd hope so.
and they're still currently on AFL lists.
Okay, so I reckon there's. Well, you say there's 5 points. I reckon there's 4 blokes.
Well, why don't you go name them first before we wrap it up there? Try and name them all off.
I've just thrown the number 4 out there, but so Elijah played for Caversham.
That's 1.
Jake Bassini,
That's 2.
and then I'm absolutely stumped there. Can you give me like the year they were drafted?
The last one's
29,
well, we're basically just giving away. There's 3, so we'll give you the 2 that you mentioned.
At least 3 points, I would say.
Yeah.
If he can get this last player, give
This,
you the 5.
we'll say drafted in 2019. Can't give any more clues. Then he is on the Bulldogs list at the moment. Plays for the Bulldogs.
Oh, Riley Garcia. Yeah. Okay.
Bang.
Yeah.
There's only those 3 apparently. So no one.
Oh, no
beyond
one.
that.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So
So
I
it's
was
just
thinking
the
I was
3.
forgetting someone. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because I remember, I think first year that Caversham was a club, I reckon was either year 4 or 5 for me. So that would have been 2013 or 14, 2012 or 13, I think would have been, when they were. So they probably just had their 10th year.
Yeah, it's they're very new club. Yeah.
And like it's called the Caversham Suns, like literally the Gold Coast. So that's
Yeah.
that's how new they are.
Yeah,
When
so
you-
it's no more than 10 years old.
Exactly.
You'd assume, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. That takes you to 12. So we've got an outright leader now.
There we
so
go.
not quite the 14 out of 14, but you could have your hands on the Greg Clark medal at the end of the year. That's the unofficial name of the winner. As Greg Clark was an absolute nuffy last year and just about got every question right. So it's the unofficial name we're calling it.
name. Beautiful.
Don't mind it. So it takes you to 12. So not bad. Now that's a new benchmark for the rest of the year. Well, we've got a little Skinbro pack for you. Unfortunately, I left the goods at home, the products for you at home, but
Get it to you.
I'll get that to you in the as soon as I can. But we've got a little
nice towel and a bag.
Towel.
as well.
Awesome. How good.
Sweat towel and a little travel bag as well. But Riley, thanks for coming on again. Well, not again, but thanks again for coming in. We wish you all the best for the remainder of the year, and of course in a couple of weeks when you take on not the Northern Blues anymore, they're just the Carlton Blues in the
Carlton.
AFL now.
Yeah, that's the one.
So best of luck in that, and of course for the rest of the Waffle Colts year and later on in the year when that draft night comes up.
Thanks very much, guys. Thank you for having me.
Hope
Love
you've
coming
enjoyed
on.
it.
It's good to hear that you're loving it. All right, well, discount code, what is it, Ethan?
Brian Ethan 20, all capitals, the and symbol, not the word. And yeah, $35 off. $35, all orders over that will get free shipping. So
And that is breaking news as well. That is hot off the press as well. That's only just changed in not even the last week. So if you want to get a bargain and a very good skincare product, make
skinbro.com.
sure you spend your $35 and you don't have to pay for travel.
Comes very
not travel,
quickly as well.
postage.
Comes very quickly. I've had a few mates get around and it's come to their doorstep. Matter of days, not even. So
Well, Asher probably just drives to their house.
yeah, what can't the man do?
Yeah, exactly. He's that good. Well, thanks again, Ethan.
All good. Looking
Great
forward to
quiz,
next
as
week.
usual. Of course. We'll be back next time here on the Bray Ethan podcast.